As we recap the last week of playoff basketball, the LA Lakers, the Phoenix Suns, and the New Orleans Pelicans are the first three teams eliminated from this year's postseason. The Suns and the Lakers had championship aspirations this year, so we're going to discuss who is the more disappointing team.
I could argue this is more disappointing than the Brooklyn Nets in this sense. These guys were healthy and playing in the playoffs. The Brooklyn Nets were not.
Also, stay tuned till the end of the video as we give our Champions League Semifinal predictions. Three teams have been eliminated, starting off with the 4-1 series gentleman sweep of the Los Angeles Lakers handed to you by the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, fresh off the wound, like right now, because we're recording right after that game ended.
But what a night for playoffs, by the way. It was like, as a neutral fan, the Dallas-Vegas game was pretty nuts.
Which we'll talk about next episode.
This game was pretty nuts. You know, it was a heavyweight matchup. Going back and forth all game. And like they say, the closeout games are always the most difficult, right? Nuggets lost game 4. Last year's game 4 was very tough on Nuggets because it needed a Jokic circus shot, and that's what it took to beat you guys in game 4. And then now today, another Jamal Murray game winner.
Yeah, so we'll talk about Denver very quickly because essentially we're going to talk about the Lakers more just because this is going to be the last time we'll be talking about them for the rest of the playoffs. Denver, yeah, okay, so my overall thoughts, you said in 5 or 6?
I said 6.
Okay, so I said 6 as well, Nuggets in 6 to be exact, even though everybody knows I'm a Laker fan. Because I genuinely thought, like, based on how the series went, it should have been in 6 minimum, all right? Denver did not look great, and you brought that point where, like, it wasn't necessarily the Lakers played their hearts out, their absolute best, because if that was the case, we would have won. We would have swept, right? Realistically, we would have swept. Jamal Murray game winner and buzzer beater in game 2. Jamal Murray game winner in game 5. Ultimately, like, he struggled outside of game 5, right? Jokic struggled in game 5. The other games, for the most part, he was good. There was times where he was slow to pick up. Game 3 was brutal by the Lakers in the third quarter. Aaron Gordon stepped up in that one. And Michael Porter Jr. was a pretty consistent role player out of everybody.
He was the best Nuggets player in terms of consistency, and he was the X factor coming into the series. And we said if he performs well, they will win. He performed well over the 5 games, and they won.
Yeah, so with the Nuggets, I still think they have another gear in them, and they're officially going against the Minnesota Timberwolves, so we'll talk about the Phoenix Suns later, but the way the Timberwolves have been looking, it's going to be tough because of Anthony Edwards and all that, right? And then you have 2 bigs that could go up on Jokic as well. Jokic, when AD wasn't as, like, worn down as the series went along, he did, like, Jokic struggled against AD primary defender minutes.
But
right?
that's the issue, though. Because when you're defending Jokic, you can get worn down.
Yeah. And on the flip side, like, Jokic was worn out because AD was giving him the buckets every game except game 5, right? And so, yeah, no, I believe the Nuggets are the best team in the West. They should make it to the final, right? Maybe even repeat win. First team since the Golden State Warriors. And it's going to be fun to see how that Timberwolves series match up. We'll talk about that once the second round officially starts.
Yeah, my quick thoughts on the Nuggets. I've been saying it all series. They were not playing like the Denver Nuggets at all. It was scary for Lakers because the Lakers were actually the better team or playing close to their potential than the Denver Nuggets were. And the Nuggets were still winning.
They're just that
so
good.
that just proves how good the Nuggets are and how dominant they are. So if they could just, they're going to need to pick up get to another gear against the Timberwolves because the Timberwolves were absolutely fantastic. So especially when you have to guard Anthony Edwards now, Rudy Gobert, at the end of the day, Jokic is going to have another tough matchup inside, going from Anthony Davis to Rudy Gobert. Not big of a fall off there, right? Jokic is going to have to work. And then Cat turned up, in the series. Cat played exceptionally well in the first round as well. All the talk was Anthony Edwards, but Karl Anthony Towns showed up. So the Nuggets have to step it up. But if they do, there's no team stopping them. As simple as that.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the Lakers here. So yeah, like we mentioned, the Lakers did not play a 48-minute game. They played for the first 2 games. They played a 24-minute game. You could say, especially game 3. Game 2, I guess you could say they played like a 40-minute game. I guess that's the best way I could put it. When you obviously. We're not gonna be able to put the stat up here, but I'm sure there's that stat flying around. Time led in this series, right? Lakers were like way over 100 minutes. The Tide was around 20 minutes, and like the Nuggets were roughly 40-ish minutes, right? So like I said, Lakers led every point at halftime. Game 5 was the only time they did not lead at the first quarter, right? At halftime, they took the lead back. So I don't know what happened in that second half. Obviously, the blame goes everywhere. I'm going to talk from a fan's perspective a little bit and share an unbiased perspective of analysis as well. So, like, no one could say anything about Anthony Davis and LeBron James this series, right? It was the inconsistent. Game 1, no one stepped up. Game 2, it was D'Angelo Russell. Game 3, it was D'Angelo Russell's worst game ever, probably, since he returned to the Lakers.
So you mean, like, game 2, he means D'Angelo Russell did step up?
Yeah.
Other than nobody else did?
Nobody else did. In Game 3, I think he stepped back down. I don't think anyone else really stepped up.
Nah, bro, he didn't step back down. He fell off.
Yeah, he fell off. Game 4, he came back a little bit. Then Austin Reeves stepped up. Yeah, and then Game 5, Anthony Davis, unfortunately, like, was playing a little through a shoulder injury that he received during the game. But even then, like, he was efficient, but just didn't take enough shots and finishing under 20 points for the thing. But he was overall over 30 points per game. Had that monster game as well with 20 boards. But yeah, this is one of those situations where you just can't beat a team, right? Caitlin Clark said it best, like, you couldn't beat South Carolina. Now, the difference between the two situations where South Carolina were at their best, in my opinion, in that women's final, Nuggets were not at their best, and it was still scary of what they did. Jamal Murray was not Jamal Murray for the 48 minutes.
Until Game 5. After the 3 quarters.
Yeah.
After the first 3 quarters of each game, then he became Jamal Murray.
Yeah. So that's where the scary thing is. Like, everyone that says, like, oh yeah, the Lakers suck, I get it, because we're gonna talk about, like, a certain breakdowns of the defensive side of things. Piss me off just because you double team Jokic high. Aaron Gordon in Game 3 literally had open dunk after dunk because you help side, right? Michael Porter Jr. gets open, he hits the 3. And that's where it gets frustrating. That's where that's where the players are, like, did not know the basic rotations, whether they didn't practice it or not, or whether that's on Darvin Ham, I don't know. You know, missing easy layups like Rui Hachimura missed as well. So, like, that obviously hurt the Lakers. But at the end of the day, being matched up against the Nuggets, you were going to get matched up at any point. Those people that are saying, like, oh, see, you should have lost the game, play-in game, and took on OKC Thunder and probably won the series, which I would have picked the Lakers to win in that series. But
OKC did look good.
Again, they're playing against
Yeah, I know, but I'm just
Pelicans.
saying that's.
But my point is, like, you would have favored them in that based on the experience as well. But at the end of the day, you were going to go through the Nuggets. So there's no excuse there, right? We would have faced them in the conference finals like last year. We probably could have gotten swept this year as well. So, yeah, the overall thing is, like, you just ran into your kryptonite, like how everybody used to, like, the Toronto Raptors ran into LeBron every year, and Indiana Pacers ran into the Miami Heat those years when LeBron was on the Heat. So it's like, it's one of those situations where, like, in my opinion, you just couldn't beat the better team. The frustrating factor is that you were the better team for a majority of certain games, or at least at the minimum.
Majority of the series at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right, so that's your fan rant.
I have more to add after, but I'm
right.
Yeah.
So get your analytics side on. My quick thoughts here. At the end of the day, like I just said, it was this, right? Jamal Murray was not at his best. Nikola Jokic was actually contained, right? Michael Porter Jr. was the best player in the series for the Denver Nuggets, especially in terms of consistency. KCP wasn't on and off. Aaron Gordon was pretty decent for what Aaron Gordon does, right? And you still couldn't win. That you had LeBron and AD rolling, and your stars outperformed their stars in this series.
Yeah.
For majority of the series, right? Like, if you're taking every single minute, I'm not saying, like, Jokic and Murray did turn up in the fourth quarter for, like, almost all the games. Yeah. But, like, if you're taking from minute 1 to 48 for all 5 games, your stars outperformed their stars.
It's just the role players.
And the role players did not show up. D'Angelo Russell still has that narrative. He is not a playoff performer. And
to be fair, he did better this year than last year.
Oh, yeah, he did, dude. That's true. That is true. But at the end of the day, that's the scariest part. I'm going to just say it one last time. The Nuggets were not at their best, and you still lost. That just proves how good the Denver Nuggets are and how lethal they are and how everyone in the West should be scared of them, right? Minnesota has a chance. They do. Don't get me wrong.
There's only other team I think that could match up well with them.
They do match up well. Yeah, they do. They really do match up well. And Anthony Edwards is on a tear. But other than that, like if the Nuggets make it to the ECF of the WCF Western Conference Final, yes, Thunder did beat them in the regular season. Yes, Clippers are goated. Yes, Mavericks, have Luka and Kyrie. Well, right now Kyrie because Luka hasn't been great. I don't see any of those teams beating the Denver Nuggets. I just don't. And
I don't.
And it's just clear. We know who the best team in the West is. And right now it's the Denver Nuggets. And they weren't at their best, which is the funniest part.
Yeah. So for you, the Lakers side of things, let's talk about what's next for them because this is where we will close it out a little bit. In your opinion, I know you're an Anthony Davis fan. That's your favorite player, or one of your favorite players. Where do you see the Lakers next year? Because there's rumors about getting Trae Young. There's rumors about getting another star. Donovan Mitchell could be available. DeJounte Murray's name was floating around all year long. So where do you see what's happening? What do you see the future of Darvin Ham now that you could see it? Because I will give you my opinion in a second, but I want you to close it out.
From just the outside looking in perspective, a lot of it's funny because he's not an NBA player, but a lot of news relies on LeBron James Jr. and Bronny, right? So that's no news number one. Whatever happens with Bronny, if he's going back to college, I think Bron stays, right? If he gets drafted, I do believe LeBron will be gone unless you guys draft him somehow. That's number one. I'm just getting that narrative out there first. Anthony Davis will be here.
Yeah, he's already
Darvin Ham will not be here.
So you're saying he's gone.
D'Angelo Russell will not be here. And I think you guys will bring in DeJounte Murray because you guys were just so heavily linked with him. And I think D'Angelo Russell, like you couldn't trade him at the deadline because he was performing so well. But the real test is the playoffs. Now you got 2 postseasons with D'Angelo Russell where he did not turn up as you expected, or especially this year, whereas he's shown that this is his bar, but he was just halfway there. Like last year, he was a non-factor. This year, he had some games, he had some moments, but the level he showed was up here, and he was nowhere near that in the postseason. Yeah. So it was his trial period. It was his tryout this postseason, and I think he failed. And
he'll opt out.
And
he's probably gonna opt out because he's probably not happy with the coaching situation.
Yeah, and for that reason, I think he's gone, and I think DeJounte Murray will be the one in here. Another reason why, because I want Trae Young to go to the Spurs.
Okay, that's a whole different topic because I'm hearing different things about Trae Young. But okay, so my overall thoughts, I'm going on based on what reporting is by Shams and stuff. LeBron apparently still has 2 or 3 years in him, and he's clearly shown that he has.
Oh yeah,
right there at 30, he doesn't look like he's 39. Like, just make that clear. Yes, he may have been more injured than normal. That's normal.
I'm like, it's pretty funny for like a guy who's 39. He doesn't even have that much gray hair.
Yeah.
Either.
Like
that's pretty impressive itself.
Yeah, like we could clown on LeBron. LeBron haters are gonna clown on LeBron, whatever. At the end of the day, you gotta respect the guy, right? Like, there's no debate about it. Yes, people are gonna troll like Steph Curry versus LeBron or LeBron Jordan or LeBron. It's not as much LeBron Kobe anymore, but whatever it was. So, and the rumors are he will probably stay, most likely. That's the case. The thing, because we're going to talk about this with the Suns, a topic we're going to talk about later is like the super team, big three, more like the super team era, right? And the Lakers, here's the thing. Darvin Ham has got to go. He's lost the locker room completely. You've seen after that horrid game 3 performance by D'Angelo Russell, not part of the huddle, right?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Austin Reeves is like ignoring him and talking to only Phil Handy. Right, you've seen LeBron and AD get pissed. Like AD's comments were taken. Like the Lakers were not happy with AD's comments. I don't disagree with anything what Anthony Davis said. Yes, he said it out of frustration. Maybe not the time to say it. So based on that, and the reports are saying that he'll probably come back. He can't. Right. As much as every Laker fan loved the hire when it came, but like we said many times, teams like this usually need a veteran guy or a very veteran assistant coach that has worked with. And in his case, he did work with Giannis, don't get me wrong, but it has to command type of respect immediately. And he did not do that, hands in his pockets the whole game. So I personally think Darvin Ham's got to go. You bring up Jared Vanderbilt and Christian Wood from injury report, 0 minutes. Christian Wood, 0 minutes in 2 games. Jared Vanderbilt, 0 minutes in this game. You put 3-4 guard lineups for no reason. When Anthony Davis did go out on injury, you didn't even bring in Jackson Hayes. You brought in another guard, right? There's clearly something wrong with the defensive side of things. Last year it was really good. This year it was horrible. Yeah, I think he's got to go, but the problem is who's going to be best to replace him. rumors are going to be Phil Handy, obviously. I feel like the players have his respect, but again, it's a rookie head coach coming in. But a difference is he's the same head coach from the same team. I feel like that's a little different, right? And when it comes to like the early season lineups, D'Angelo Russell was benched. Austin Reeves was benched. Rui Hachimura for the longest time was benched. Torian Prince was playing a lot of minutes when he was struggling. Reddish was playing a lot of minutes. After you put that lineup together is when we had like that crazy win streak, but like winning. The winning percentage was like above 60.
A good run. He had a good run.
It was a good run. So yeah, I think he's got to go. I feel like he has no respect in that locker room right now, especially if you want to keep LeBron. Even if, listen, I don't know who's better than D'Angelo Russell that's going to be available, but maybe it's best to bring him back for now, at least for the regular season, and we'll see what happens that way if there's no other options, right? So yeah, but the question is who's going to be better available? I don't want it to be Terry Stotts, like there were rumors in the past. I would much rather, if T-Lu's gone, if he gets lost in the first round, that's a guy I'm targeting. But
Adrian Griffin.
So will probably be the Suns. Yeah, no chance. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the coaching side of things. As for the superstar,
last option could be LeBron, player coach.
Okay, probably because he was kind of doing that anyways. As for the what's in terms of the roster, listen, clearly the big three in the Suns did not work. Clearly, egos got away in the Brooklyn Nets. The Russell Westbrook Laker era was not good at all, right? That's what they try to do. I feel like if it's Donovan Mitchell, especially, or a Trae Young or DeJounte Murray, I don't know if DeJounte Murray will fully fit as well as the other two, but like if Donovan Mitchell's available, I am going for that, right? Reason being, I feel like if you have LeBron and Anthony Davis, they work so well together that like if you just get another ball handler or a scorer, LeBron could be your point guard. This wasn't the same situation at the Suns, right? You get what I'm saying there. And I wouldn't mind that. However, this is where I blame Pelinka a lot over like Vogel should not have been fired because you gave him the perfect setup with the year we won the championship, and you always bring it up to it. This team broke up. I didn't mind the moves the second year as much, but then the Russell Westbrook trade screwed everything over. Because of that, then you had to do another overhaul. The team got better last year, but the chemistry wasn't there. You did the right thing this year, brought the team back. Unfortunately, the coaching, in my opinion, wasn't there. So, like, if it were up to me, you need to keep Bron and AD together, hopefully healthy, and then bring in a bunch of 3-and-D guys, defender guys. Because that's what helped us win the championship. That helped us in that first year where AD dominated, LeBron dominated as well. You had, like, really good perimeter defenders. You added some shooters. That's what I think they need to do. And unfortunately, it's going to be tough to do so.
Yeah, it's going to be tougher because, one, LeBron and AD are 4 or 5 years older, right? That's number one. Number two, I know he played a lot this year, but AD's health is always a question mark.
Yeah, for sure.
Every single year.
Massive respect to him this year. Like, he played career high.
But that's another thing. So, yeah, I like the Donovan Mitchell fit in the sense of, like, you know, if you have a dual threat in the sense of you have the offensive threat of LeBron and AD pick and roll play, and then you have a Donovan Mitchell, just a guy who will just get a bucket.
And LeBron could run the point. He literally ran the point in that first year. Like, he was the point guard.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, like, at the end of the day, as a Laker fan, we know they're going to go big game hunting. We have 3 first-round picks to trade. I know they're going to trade it. If I were to go after someone, it would be a Donovan Mitchell, obviously. DeJounte Murray will help on the defensive side of things. But he's been on heater. But again, DeJounte Murray, Trae Young did not work out. Let's see what happens
but
here.
Yeah.
If LeBron were to leave, then they probably have to go after Donovan Mitchell. But then again, that championship contendership goes out the window.
There's just one thing that's clear now. This guy's a Laker GOAT, baby.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Don't put LeBron in the conversation. Don't put
he was never in the conversation.
People put LeBron in the conversation.
Because they're saying that LeBron's a GOAT. That's what they automatically
I've seen the comments on our NBA West videos and stuff. They're like, where's LeBron?
Those are just LeBron fans.
Yeah, no.
Just put that out of the way.
Yeah,
right?
screw
Those are just LeBron fans.
But yeah, let's move on to a much more disappointing performance by the Phoenix Suns. And
so just to make that clear, before we continue on with the Phoenix Suns, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel. Where, like I said, playoff schedule is kind of iffy right now, but we'll be dropping a lot more content now that slowly the teams are running out. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and get us to that road to 1,000. All right. But yeah, to ask you that question,
Suns fans, for sympathy, subscribe.
So to ask you that question properly, more disappointing result: Lakers or Suns?
I feel like it's very obvious.
So it is all okay.
Yeah. It's obviously the LA League. Oh, I'm just kidding. It's the Phoenix Suns, right?
Easily.
This is a team that we predicted that they will make the finals. This is a team that we felt like, for amount of money they invested in Beal, in the big three, that they've actually filled the roster out pretty well in the sense of they added.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
Right. They added Royce O'Neal at the deadline. They added Yuta Watanabe, who
got traded for Royce
who
O'Neal.
got traded for Royce O'Neal. And then Nurkic was obviously, not the greatest defensive big, but he was still
He stepped
a
up.
big.
He was pretty decent.
He was decent, right? I can't really hate on Nurkic what he did this year.
By the way, fun fact: Nurkic has the worst win percentage in playoff as a player. I think he's like 3 and like 17 or something like that.
Portland, and now you guys
Because
swept
he
me
didn't
here.
play in that Portland series.
But it's simple as this, right? Like, there was a roadmap of how the Suns should win this series if the big three cooked, and the big three did not cook, right? It's not like you lost because the big three played well. You like how you guys are, like LeBron and AD played well, and you guys still lost, right? That just proved that there were other issues around your locker room or on your roster.
They played
or
an
coaching.
inferior opponent too.
And then, but like I'm talking about like the Denver, which is better as well. This game, Devin Booker averaged 14 points this series, apart from if you take away Game 4, right? Kevin Durant, I think, only hit 30 points twice in this series. Two times out of 4 games. Bradley Beal, this is the one thing I'm gonna, pin on Frank Vogel. And honestly, if you get fired for this single reason, I will understand. Why is he guarding Anthony Edwards when Anthony Edwards is absolutely popping off, and he was also nowhere to be found in this series? It's a completely different story if the Suns lost this series, if Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal played up to their potential.
Yeah.
Right? That will just prove that it's either one, a coaching issue, two, the roster construction, and the GM, I think it was, what's his name?
James Jones.
James Jones. I was about to say Jerry Jones. And
who was also terrible.
Yeah, who's also terrible as well. So that would just prove it's that issue. But for this one, yes, roster, like, don't get me wrong, the roster construction is an issue, defense is an issue. But I have to blame Devin Booker as my number one culprit on this series.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the stats. Outside of one game, Kevin Durant still performed, considering like he's an unselfish superstar. He's proven that in advance. Yeah, Devin Booker, 18 points, 20 points, 23 points. Yeah, he had 8 assists, 5 assists,
Look at the
5
efficiencies.
assists.
Look at the efficiencies.
Yeah, I know. 61%, 53. Okay, so honestly, the efficiencies were kind of average, except for game 1. But
that's the issue.
Yeah.
Booker's not average player. Booker's a great NBA player.
no, don't get me wrong, right? Like, is he still the best shooting guard in the league?
Not anymore.
It's for some people, it's still up for debate because of how long Booker's done it for. But
it is not anymore.
But Anthony Edwards is going to take that crown. We already know it.
In my books, he already took it over.
Here's my question to you, and Frank Vogel's probably going to get fired, and I'll see why. Right, 4-0 with this team.
And Beal guarding Anthony Edwards.
But it's another scapegoat situation, like
is it
like the Lakers did with Frank Vogel?
It's not fully his fault.
This is where I have issues with it. Matt Ishbia instantly comes in, trades for Kevin Durant. That's a fair trade. I'm not gonna regret that trade for
Kevin Durant. Wow, there's no
but
regrets on that.
The stuff he did after that is questionable to me, right? You trade for Bradley Beal, thinking that the big three, the super team era, and I'm gonna go in a second. We're talking about the super team era in a second here. You do all that, right? You trade away DeAndre Ayton, I get a disgruntled star. You get in Yusuf Nurkic, sure. You hire Frank Vogel as your coach, Ishbia and James Jones. James Jones is probably going to get fired too. But you hire those guys, but this team is not the same as that Laker team that had defensive stars everywhere. Out of the big three, who was really the biggest defensive stalwart? Like Anthony Davis level I'm talking about.
Like outside the big three?
No, out of the big three.
Oh, it's probably Devin Booker is the closest one.
But he's not Anthony Davis.
But he's not like nothing at that level.
And he's not LeBron James either.
He's nothing at that level.
Right? So
he's improved.
And then that team
that
team added Danny Green and Avery Bradley to that lineup, right? You added Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee to that lineup, right? So that Lakers risk construction for that team deserved all the props. This one, you didn't really add. Eric Gordon was older. Grayson Allen's a gritty player, don't get me wrong. He had a good year for his standards, right? You add Royce O'Neal at the deadline. But this team was not made for Frank Vogel's thing. I'd like to hire thinking he would get the best out of these guys when they play. Clearly, he did not because there was such an up and down season. That's problem number one. Problem number two is Frank Vogel, and the one thing we said is they don't need a superstar point guard. They just need a guy who could just make plays. the name I keep mentioning is Tyus Jones. He said to go get a point guard. And apparently that report, I think it was from Chris Haynes, said, oh, it's because they didn't want to take the ball out of Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal's hands. Okay, I get that. But the job of the point guard isn't to get points. It's to give the ball at your best position.
Exactly.
Chris Paul wasn't like a consistent 20 points average scorer. He got the ball at the right position for the start, like when he was playing Lob City. He got the ball to Blake Griffin when he needed to.
Okay, so
or Jamal Crawford or all these guys.
Here's the thing.
James Harden and all those.
Yeah, here's the thing with that system. When the Phoenix Suns made the finals, right, Chris Paul was the one who's bringing up the ball. Devin Booker is the one who's doing the scoring, right? Chris Paul put Devin Booker in the best positions to score. Chris Paul put DeAndre Ayton in the best positions to score, right?
Mikal Bridges.
Who was doing that this year? If Devin Booker's responsibility to put himself in the best position to score, that did not happen because he only averaged 14 for like 3 games, right? Obviously, the other two didn't show up. Really, I mean, Bradley Beal didn't show up, and then Kevin Durant did his thing, except for in one game. It was just simple. Like everything went wrong, but the one thing that was supposed to go right was the big three performing, and for me, that's on the big three as much as it is on the roster construction. If I were to pick a side, I'll blame the roster construction more, obviously.
Bradley Beal wasn't the same Bradley Beal when he got 30 points a game with Washington. Like he kind of had a little bit, somewhat of a drop off after the contract, which is fair to say. A little bit of his injuries, I remember, but like I understand he's a good player, but the fit when he came in, yes, like I think me and you, especially me, have the habit of like, oh, in basketball, talent over everything. But then when I'm sat back today, I'm chilling at work, I'm looking back. Who were the champions last year? The Denver Nuggets. They have one superstar player and an all-star caliber player. Obviously, in the playoffs,
he is an all-star player.
I'm just saying he's an all-star caliber because at the end of the day, you can't say he's an all-star player when he hasn't got one.
He's a full-blown star.
But at the end of the day, you have a good dynamic duo filled with the rest of quality role players, aka what the Lakers did.
And playoffs is what matters.
Before that, the Golden State Warriors, it was Steph Curry. It wasn't the same old Klay Thompson. It wasn't the same old Draymond Green.
Wiggins stepped up,
so that helped. It wasn't a super team like they were, right? So that team.
So
and then I'm gonna go the Bucks, superstar, all-star, rest were role players. The Lakers, I just said that. Your Raptors team, you had a superstar and a couple of all-stars and an emergence of Pascal Siakam. Outside of that Warriors team, the two they won with Kevin Durant, even the Cavs team, I get it. You could consider a super team. Kyrie Irving was already there. He fit what LeBron did, and you added Kevin Love, but Kevin Love wasn't meant to do. Kevin Love was essentially Chris Bosh, and I get it. That was a super team too.
But here's the thing: Matt Ishbia and James Jones thought it was 2011 to 2017, or 2018, right? That's the type of roster they were trying to build.
2012, I guess you could say, because
2011 was So 2012 to 2018. That's what James Jones and Matt Ishbia were living in, and they thought it was going to work. It did not work. Like when was this Brooklyn Nets roster constructed? After 2018, right? When was this Phoenix Suns roster constructed? After 2018.
Take that thing away.
The era's done.
The 04 Lakers didn't win, and you had Karl Malone, Kobe Bryant, Shaq, and Gary Payton on that team.
But that's different.
I'm just saying in general.
I'm just saying there was an era of super teams, and that was 2012.
But it was one team that really dominated, though.
2 teams.
Cavs got to the finals, but they only won 1.
Miami Heat.
They won 2 out of 4.
At
the end of the day, the Spurs are a different situation. The Spurs developed their
4 straight NBA finals.
Yeah, that's fine.
They dominated.
Fair, it's fair. Fine, I'll give you that point. But again, at the end of the day, it doesn't work anymore unless they fit.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Or their ego's not in the way. I could argue this is more disappointing than the Brooklyn Nets in this sense. These guys were healthy and playing in the playoffs. The Brooklyn Nets were not. And the second year, James Harden dipped out, and then we saw what happened in the playoffs after that. But I'm saying the year that Kevin Durant was an inch away from taking that team to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, that time there was...
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, I get that.
No, but that time it was Kyrie Irving
got hurt and James Harden started playing hurt because Kyrie
so it was legit.
Was more significant. So you could argue this team was a little bit more disappointing.
It is more. It is way more.
That's disappointing because egos got in the way. So that's still the worst of all time in that sense. But pure basketball standpoint,
this just failed.
This has just failed immediately. This is same as the Lakers. Yeah, you could say. I guess you could say the Lakers Westbrook era for sure because they missed the playoffs completely. Kobe, Dwight, Nash era, sure, right? But yeah, like at the end of the day, it's shown that you can't. The super team is not needed. This is where with OKC, I know we dropped that video about They should target a guy. I still think they should, but then like looking at what J-Dub has done, he's gonna get paid. Chet's gonna get paid. Lou Dort, and we're gonna talk about the series in a second, is an underrated defender that he could win. He has defensive player of the year potential with how he locks down the best player all the day, every day.
Yeah.
Right?
So in hindsight, the Phoenix Suns turned into Phoenix Buns.
But what's gonna happen with Phoenix Suns?
What is gonna happen with the Phoenix Suns? That's the question. That's the question mark. And the best answer.
KD was healthy this year for the most
best
part.
answer we could give you is for a year from now. But right now, predictions wise, the most expendable player is Kevin Durant. Nobody wants Bradley Beal.
Because he has a no trade clause as well.
Because he has no trade clause and he's making $50 million, right? And Devin Booker isn't going to be, a little bit of a loyalty factor in the sense of.
But look,
he's been there, done that, and he's their closest player to untouchable. I would argue there's no untouchables in this team.
They're not. No.
Nobody's
untouchable. Because here's the thing: this team is paying like $145 million. You said
150, close to that.
Whatever it was, right? 2 years of Kevin Durant. You got 3 years of Bradley Beal, including the option, and then you got 4 years of Devin Booker with a $61 million in his final year. That's number one. You have no control over your picks for the next, I think, 6 years, which means the swaps, they don't have a control over that as well, similar to the Lakers AD trade, but then that wouldn't obviously work. Yeah, so like at the end of the day, if you really want to change things up, the only two people expendable for you are Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, and a team like New York will be happy to call, right, for either one of those guys. A team like even OKC.
So here's the thing,
whatever
right?
The case may be, or Golden State.
So let's play the Brooklyn Nets role. Let's say all three do get traded.
Brooklyn Nets. Oh yeah,
because all 3 years got traded, right? Where will Bradley Beal end up, or where do you think he could end up that he could provide value to a team?
Miami.
Yeah, that's fair.
I felt like he should have been in Miami this year. I don't know why he forced Phoenix, and Phoenix went hard for him for some reason. But I think Miami was the best spot for him because even with Miami, you got rid of Kyle Lowry and you have no point guard. At the end of the day,
That's
a true point guard, right? You see, team Mike Conley is a perfect example.
He's still going,
and he's still going. We'll talk about Timberwolves even though we did slightly. We'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, so if you're asking me personally, Miami, but then he has all the control of what he wants.
Yeah, no, but I'm just like we're playing in that world, right?
Yeah.
There's no realism.
Miami or a cap dump and a buyout, wherever that may be.
But what team?
Charlotte.
Probably Miami, Charlotte, if he just wants. All right. Devin Booker.
If he were to leave?
Yeah, we're playing in the world. They're all leaving. Yeah. They're all leaving. Where would he best fit?
Best fit for him. Let me pull up the teams very quickly. It's obviously Steven has said he wants to be a Knick, which is obviously I'm not trusting that.
The fit's there.
I think the fit's there.
I don't know if he wants to be a Knick,
but I'm saying if fit wise, I don't think Denver should touch anything.
No, they don't. They shouldn't touch anything.
I'm going New York. I'm going.
Because realistically, it'll be an Eastern team, right? They would try to get him out of the conference, right? If they were to trade him.
Milwaukee might be a little too much. If you could swap him and Middleton, sure. Pelicans. But again, they need a point guard. But he's a major upgrade over CJ McCollum and him. And if Zion, again, the question mark was Zion.
Zion's be held.
I love it with Orlando.
Yeah.
Orlando could be a good spot. Indiana could be a really good spot. 76ers an obvious spot. But yeah, it's like those type of teams.
It's gonna be like yeah.
If it's a contender,
it's an Orlando Pacer type team.
76ers might be the best spot for him.
It's an Orlando Pacer type team.
Yeah, or Sixers. I don't mind saying the Sixers.
Yeah, no, but Sixers are gonna have nothing.
Tyrese Maxey though.
They're gonna have nothing.
Right.
They're gonna have no depth.
And Golden State if Clay leaves.
That'll be great. All right, Kevin Durant. I feel like is like.
Well, I saw Marty a mock trade with the Lakers.
I feel like Kevin Durant is a Knick.
No, I don't
if it's like a move, if there is moving. If there's movement, I feel like Knicks are going to
I want to see this happen, but I don't think it will.
All three of them get traded? Or no? Or what team?
Dallas. But then Kyrie's there, so I don't know if there's something
No,
like that.
Man. It's too much. Dallas already lacked the depth.
For me, again, the Lakers were going to be somehow involved if he's available. Golden State. I don't think he's going to go back because of the legacy concern.
So here's my predictions. If all three get traded, I'm going Charlotte for Bradley Beal just because they need to.
Spurs.
I'm going...
For Devin Booker.
Yeah. I'm going Orlando Magic for Devin Booker.
Okay.
Of what I want to kind of see.
Oh, so this is preference, not like prediction.
Huh?
This is preference.
Well, Beal's like, I'm trying to like, kind of both.
Yeah. Preference with realism is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm not gonna say like freaking the Denver Nuggets don't get Devin Booker.
Yeah. Right? No.
And then Kevin Durant, I do want to see him in the Knicks. I'll be honest with you, I really do.
Yeah,
I do.
because Bronson plays that point guard role well.
Because
in a way,
you have Brunson running the point. You got OG as being
if they re-sign him.
the defender, which they showed because their record is absolutely incredible with him. And then obviously you have the rotation.
Julio Shandle will not be on the team then.
Yeah, he's not on the team. And then you have the rotation of bigs that's playing well with Hartenstein, Achua, and Mitchell Robinson, who are
Devin Booker fits there well too.
yeah, he does both because they both could score, right?
Yeah.
They need they need another scorer, right? Like after Brunson and his 47 points, what did they really have?
Yeah.
No one. But let's move on to the Timberwolves side.
Vogel gone in your opinion? This is prediction.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Like I would feel bad for him, but the fact that you had Beal on Anthony Edwards pissed the shit out of me, bro.
Yeah.
Like pissed me off so much. I'm like, that's a coaching decision, and for that reason,
This is where
you could be gone.
people say last thing to close it out before we go to Timberwolves. This is where Cuban does get involved, but I don't think he gets heavily involved as much as Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones literally self-proclaimed general manager, but for Dallas Cowboys. But I'm saying this is how Ishbia reminds me of what Boley did for Chelsea.
Exactly.
Somewhat in a way.
Kind of like that.
But yeah.
But
Minnesota?
Massive. Yeah, I know we've been shitting on the Suns the whole time, but massive credit does go to Minnesota. Jaden McDaniels held down Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker, whoever he guarded. He contained him well. Anthony Edwards is a two-way star in this league. He wants that challenge defensively, and he is Anthony Edwards. I agree with. I don't know who said this. It's weird because Perkins might be right. I think it was Perkins. That Anthony Edwards has this guy's mentality, right?
Oh, cool. Yeah, Steven said that too.
And then Michael Jordan. If you're talking about it was Jordan followed up by Kobe, followed up by no one. Anthony Edwards is filling that role.
The only difference is Anthony Edwards has a personality after the game, whereas these guys didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Business. That's
but
it.
Anthony Edwards absolutely incredible. For me, if you absolutely destroyed the best shooting guard of the game in Devin Booker, you are the best shooting guard in the game now. Anthony Edwards has taken over that spot. And if you're going by Team USA fit-wise, Anthony Edwards should be starting over Devin Booker after this playoff performance or after this round one performance as well. Shout out to Kat, like I said.
Yeah, I mean, Kat, the big thing that helped Kat was having Anthony Edwards. Because the other time in the playoff series, he struggled. Because he was the main guy.
And last year, the reason why Kat struggled too, because Anthony Edwards was not great against the Nuggets.
He wasn't great himself.
Yeah.
Right. So
and then, Gobert didn't get exposed like he usually does by the Warriors.
Gobert stepped up. He impressed me a little bit in this series. He held his own. He held his own on the perimeter a little bit. He could funnel, obviously, those guys to Jaden McDaniels or Kat at times as well. But no, we got to apologize to the Minnesota Timberwolves because we both were not fans of the fit of getting Rudy Gobert.
I got to apologize.
But clearly it worked. Oh, by the way, get well soon, Chris Finch.
Yeah, that's the wildest part is the coach got hurt.
Yeah,
that was wild. Yeah, but get well soon. They almost called for a stretcher.
But it's gonna be.
He walked off. But I apologize to everyone except for Anthony Edwards because I knew Anthony Edwards was a dog. But everyone else on that team is a dog too. Conley still got it. Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, then that's my point. That's exactly my point. Mike Conley, when needed, told the team, "Calm down. We're fine. Grip the ball hard late in the game." Gave the ball to Anthony Edwards when he needed to. Gave the ball to Kat and Rudy Gobert, pick and roll, whatever. That's what the Suns needed. It didn't even have to be Mike Conley level. Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones is there.
Just be an IQ. You need a high IQ.
Yeah, just high IQ point guard. I don't mind a Jalen Suggs either. I know he's more defensive guy now, but that's all.
That's what it works.
But we'll review the
Timberwolves
series in a sec, but it's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, quick mini preview.
No, we don't need to do a mini preview right now. Nuggets for the Nuggets Timberwolves?
Yeah, I thought did you not just say that? You're quick preview.
No. I said that's it. We'll do the quick preview. We'll do a preview next time.
Oh, okay. I thought you said do it right now. That's why I said it.
No.
Yeah,
no.
It's gonna be fun. That's all I'll say that much. It's gonna be. It's definitely gonna be better than last year's matchup.
So we mentioned Chris Finch. We mentioned Orlando slightly, but we gotta give a shout out to Mark Daigneault, Coach of the Year of the OKC Thunder, who swept the New Orleans Pelicans today as well. So well deserved. Like I said, every player's in it. Anthony Edwards as his coach of the year. I'm not gonna blame him. He did well.
Wow, he did incredible.
But this team took a much bigger jump that even he took. Even Jamal Mosley, shout out to him. But yeah, Mark Daigneault, took this team to the first seed. Swept a team that even we thought without Zion would make it tough. I said 7. I think you said 6. I don't know exactly.
I didn't say 7. I said 6. Yeah, I said 6.
Yeah. So, but no. Going back to this. First off, Lu Dort.
Yeah, Lu Dort and throw in Cason Wallace. And just the overall OKC defense, absolutely incredible. Lu Dort single-handedly, took out Brandon Ingram out of the series. And then when he was off, Casey Wallace was right there next to him. And did his
Pelicans,
job.
if you're wondering, Pelicans, these are their total points. 92, 92, 85, 89.
You're not winning in this day in the NBA if you're not scoring 100. As simple as that, right?
Not to be fair, OKC did win 94-92 in game 1.
Yeah, no, but like you're gonna have to score 100 or close to it every single time just to have a chance. But yeah, this Thunder defense is absolutely incredible. You have Chet protecting the rim. Chet's getting blocks left, right, and center. Especially, I think there's 5 block performance in game 1. Shea still holds his own on his defensive side. So does J-Dub. And then you have Lou Dort being the absolute lockdown that he is, right? He contained prime James Harden, right, in the bubble. He contained Brandon Ingram. And whenever he matched up against CJ McCollum, he contained them too.
Yeah, like
this team defense has not been talked about enough, and this could be the reason why they could make that run this year.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Brandon Ingram, he might have been efficient, but for 2 of the games, today he was 2 for 14. Dreadful. 7 for 14. There's no way without Zion you should be only taking 14 shots. A lot of the credit goes to those guys.
You got to be in 20s.
5 for 10. Again, 10 shots as the main guy. Same thing. 5 for 17 the first game, right? So Brandon Ingram clearly proved, I don't know how much of this is again, a lot of credit to Lou Dort, Casey Wallace, mainly Lou Dort in this case because starting off wise. Brandon Ingram clearly isn't the best player on the championship team. He could be that Jamal Murray guy, clearly. So yes, Zion was missed. I wish Zion was in this series to see the true test of what the OKC Thunder defense was gonna be like, because I feel like J-Dub is the only one built like that, like to kind of like take the shots, and even then, like again, body will wear down a lot. So yeah, like this OKC team, I genuinely did not think a sweep. I thought it was still gonna be tough because of the inexperience. Shea, again, I guess his experience also helped a little bit. It's not like Shea popped off either.
Didn't need to.
He didn't fully need to either. Yeah, you're right. Because like Chet had his moments. He had a bad game, good game, but defensively he was there. Shea Gilgeous, like J-Dub was the most consistent, I think, for standards. So like Shea did, don't get me wrong. Shea had 24, 24, 33, and 28. Right, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, games like that. His inefficiency. He was 38%, 40%, 68%, and 45%. So it's not like classic Shea in the regular season. But didn't need to, like you said.
Here's the thing, right? Points, yes, they come and go. But what every coach preaches and what Mark Daigneault preaches is that these guys show up with high professionalism. These guys show up and put in the effort. And where's the effort usually put? You know, defense, and there's hustle stats, right?
Yeah.
The little battles, OKC won, right? Defensively, it's a mindset you gotta play, right? Like offense is more skill, defense is more mindset, in my opinion. If you would agree with that, and more hustle, yeah, right? And OKC did the little things. OKC did, had that defensive mindset, right? Lou Dort had that mindset. Yeah, he might make 5 shots off of 7, but I'm gonna make sure he only takes 7, right? It doesn't matter if
because
at the end of the day, like if he scores, he scores.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
right? Like Ingram scored, yeah, whatever. He's 5 for 10, 50% shooting, incredible. 50% shooting is amazing.
But that's 10 to 15 points.
Exactly.
Right, the max, and then maybe fine, give him a couple of free throws here and there.
Those 10 shots were so difficult to take.
Yeah.
Right, and Ingram is a good scorer. He's gonna score 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
But the emphasis that he only took 10.
Yeah, in this case, he caught 2 only out of 14.
Yeah, but the emphasis he only took 10, a maximum of 14. Right, that's the defense of type they need to play. Right, whatever happened, right, he scored. Lou Dort or Casey Wallace was on his ass again, like, okay, try shooting this one. Try shooting this one, right? The amount of times Ingram I saw, especially in this game 4, the amount of times Ingram had to give up the ball late in the shot clock because there was just no space. They were into his body, and OKC Thunder's defense could carry him if their offense is struggling at one point. If Shea is, having an off game, or Chet / J-Dub, this defense can win them games. Yeah. It could steal them games, and it's going to face a much tougher challenge in Luka Doncic or Paul George or Kawhi Leonard and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, so overall, let's talk about the Pelicans very quickly. We already know the main thing, Zion's health.
Yeah, right. Zion's health is the main thing. Another thing is that, this has just been a bona fide play-in team, and all their energy goes into 1 or 2 play-in games, and coming in, they're already exhausted. And again, I think it was they lost in last year's play-in. The year before, they lost to the Suns in the first round. And now this year, they got swept. So
Yeah,
a
and listen,
lot of factors.
what they need, Brandon Ingram's gonna get traded. I'm gonna just say that there. I don't think he's gonna get another contract with these guys. He's gonna get traded because you got to make room for Herb Jones as well. I'm sure they want to keep Trey Murphy. CJ McCollum, right, inefficient as hell outside of Game 4, right? Only 20, 16, 15, and 20 points total. If Brandon Ingram's not going, you would kind of wish he did, like he did for Dame in that second round against the Nuggets, especially.
You mean CJ?
Yeah, when CJ with Dame, when Dame was off. I'm talking about the Portland series.
Yeah,
back in
but you said
2019.
Ingram. That's why I asked.
Oh,
You
yeah,
said- You said CJ.
Yeah, so they need to, first of all, they again need a true point guard, right? CJ McCollum will thrive, right? Like think about it. All the teams that are doing good, Mike Conley, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic,
Or Kyrie, whatever it was.
Jamal Murray / Jokic, because technically Jokic is more of the point guard, right? Other side, you got Jalen Brunson, you got Drew Holiday, right? And then
got all these
Kyle
guys.
Lowry. And I know they're losing, but they're still doing fine.
Like they're low key were unlucky. The Sixers.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, like those teams, or Darius Garland and Jalen Suggs, or whoever's their main point guard there. But yeah, at the end of the day, teams need a true point guard. We've learned that. Clearly, you need someone that could just like be effective with the ball and be efficient with the passing.
That's just how it works, right? But yeah,
So at the end of the day, I don't know how much you could really change. I think you need to. Again, it all comes down to Zion's health.
it's because like you haven't really gone a fair shot.
Yeah.
Right. You haven't seen them at their best when it matters most, right? Because of Zion's injuries, because of Ingram's injuries, right? So for that reason, like it's gonna be tough decisions that need to be made. That is for sure. But it sucks, but we can't really see this trio play together because we know when they play together, they can cook, right? And Zion was cooking in the play-in game before he got hurt. So let's move on to
Finish off the West.
only 2-2 series in the NBA playoffs after 4 games.
3 out of the 4 Western Conference teams eliminated. This is
So that's why, Eastern Conference, we're going to be fly through it because West, even this series, we're going to fly through it too because it's still going on. So we can't really say too much. But games 3 and games 4, the Dallas Mavericks took over game 3. The LA Clippers bounced back with one of the games of the playoffs so far. And
choked a 30-point lead.
choked a 30-point lead, yeah. And here is the difference right now of why it's a 3-1, why it's not a 3-1 series lead for the Dallas Mavericks. And that is Luka Doncic has not been efficient and a lot of wasted possessions from Luka Doncic right now.
He's
and
admitted
to
that
it
he
too.
hasn't helped Kyrie Irving a lot
Yeah.
as well.
Kyrie Irving is still that dog in the playoffs, and whenever he is on the court, he's just proven that he is one of the best point guards in the game. Other than that, Derek Lively's looked like he's done, impressed ever since the game 1 wasn't great defensively. The Mavericks defense has been there ever since, and Lively's been a part of that, and not Dorian Finney-Smith, like the team defense, right? Like Tim Hardaway's been a part of that.
I always mix the two.
I was like, yo, who's the one that got
Maxi
traded?
Kleber,
Maxi Kleber,
Daniel Gafford,
and Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, all these guys. So
Derek Jones is the big one.
and Derek Jones, yeah. So that's what I was missing. But other than that, right? Like if Luka just been efficient, I think it could have been a Mavericks 3-1 lead easily.
Kawhi should probably just sit out and just properly heal. You could tell he just came back. He did not look right. Sat back down. Paul George carried the load, and James Harden. So that helped, right?
Oh, James Harden.
James Harden struggled in the second half in the 2 Kawhi games. He was fine in the first half for one of those games.
James Harden impressed in game 4, became that closer that they really needed. Answered Kyrie Irving's every bucket and Luka Doncic whenever he made the bucket. But James Harden and Paul George really did. Paul George hit that insane shot from the corner. I think it was like behind the backboard almost.
Yeah.
Like that was an incredible shot. And James Harden, yes, he could have been defended better because he had like 5-6 floaters in a row.
Yeah.
As well, and like slash layups. But overall, the series has lived up to it.
Yeah, like James Harden
for sure.
performed well, like over 20 points a game per each. He has over 5 assists, 5, 7, 8.
I really hope it goes 7.
It should.
It should go 7. But overall, yeah, great performance. But if Luka Doncic plays like Luka Doncic, I could see the Mavericks run away with it in 6.
There's no excuse of saying, oh, there's no Kawhi Leonard or game plan change. No, you guys should easily have been up 3-1 at the very minimum, right? 3-0 even heading into the final.
I mean, you got destroyed in game 1, so we can't even give you that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Their excuse was, oh, Kawhi wasn't playing.
I know, but we can't even, even if, no matter what happened that game, they weren't good. So
no, but what I'm saying is from
I know,
what
but
I'm
actually that would be the only loss they have.
yeah.
Like that wasn't a win. No matter what happened that game, they
Yeah, but
they
what-
weren't winning.
yeah.
They were not gonna win. No matter
Yeah.
who was playing or who
Yeah,
wasn't
unless magically they were gonna lock down Kawhi if the Kawhi game plan. So who
playing. But I know
knows?
that Kawhi is not healthy. You could tell because that's not the Kawhi I've seen in my Raptor team. And Kawhi in game 1 of last year against Phoenix Suns. It sucks because ACL injuries I guess is catching up to him right now because he's not really fully healed off of it, I
Yeah,
guess.
so ACL, meniscus, whatever he hurt last year as well. It's unfortunate. Like, listen, I get the argument of like, oh, sore left knee, what a little bitch. Why is he not playing? Blah blah blah. And I'm not saying like it's everywhere on Twitter. People we know, people we don't know, whatever they say it. I kind of agree with it as well, but I'm at the same time I'm like, the dude has an injury history. He's gonna care about life outside of basketball.
Hey,
as well.
Kawhi is very accomplished, right?
And Kawhi doesn't care. Like he sat out a whole year with the Spurs.
Kawhi has done what Kawhi has supposed to done.
Yeah.
Kawhi is a Hall of Famer. Kawhi is a playoff performer. Kawhi is a 2-time NBA champion and a 2-time Finals MVP. Right? Finals MVP is way more important than MVP.
Yeah.
And most important individual award
At the end of the day,
in the terms of like defining legacy.
yeah, at the end of the day, it's just like he's never done this before. It's frustrating from a fan point of perspective. That's why he doesn't have many fans because of it. It is what it is. I'm just like, if he's injured, why? Like, clearly he doesn't look right. So what's the point?
He does not look
what's
right.
What's the point of playing?
Yeah, he
Like,
definitely does
you
not
could
look
easily
right.
not play well, and then hurt yourself more. So I'm fine with it. I've never been that guy. That's always been like.
And we can't even say that he doesn't want to play because if he didn't want to play, he wouldn't have played game 2. He wouldn't have suited up.
Yeah.
Right? And Paul George, I think, is defending Kawhi in that sense too, because he's saying that Kawhi's working hard, trying to be on the court. Because at the end of the day, like the Pelicans we never seen a fair assessment of the Pelicans. We haven't seen a fair assessment of the Clippers, right? Other than the bubble, but then it was a bubble.
Yeah. Okay, so you actually lied. There's another 2-2 series.
Am I missing one? Oh yeah, the Magic.
Yeah, so
The only one I haven't watched.
The one series we didn't pay attention to.
I haven't
All of a
paid attention to
sudden,
that series.
the Magic have turned it around, and Game 3, what we said
It's
about
the
Game 2.
I'll say this much: it's the most boring 2-2 ever, because everything's been absolute destruction.
What we said needed to be done in Game 2 happened in Game 3. Paolo Banchero went 13 for 26 shooting, 31 points, but
He got help.
Jalen Suggs went 9 for 11. 3 for 5 from 3.
He got help. That's
That's
what
also the thing,
happened.
but he wasn't even like shooting that much as well in the other first 2 games.
Franz Wagner in Game 4.
Listen, we're not gonna sugarcoat it. We're not gonna spend too much time. We didn't watch these games.
But Franz
really.
Wagner in Game 4 was the main guy.
This game,
I was really impressed with Banchero in Game 1 and Game 2, though. I'll say that much, right? For a guy who's in his being that guy, still getting like his 24 points, right? Like I wasn't blaming Banchero for doing what he was supposed to do. It was nobody else was doing.
listen,
No,
yeah,
again.
and you're right. Game 4, he was shit. He was 4 for 14.
It was
He
Franz
got 9
Wagner.
points only.
It was Franz Wagner. Like
Yeah.
this is a team effort, and yes, does it help if Banchero scores 30? Obviously, he still needs to develop into that.
Yeah.
Right. So we can't criticize.
But
of
on the
what he
flip
done.
side, that Game 3 looking at I'm start watching this right.
Oh yeah, but
Donovan Mitchell 13 points, 6 for 16 shooting. Darius Garland 2 for 10 shooting, 5 points. Jared Allen's your leading scorer. That cannot happen.
how many points was that?
15.
Exactly. That's the issue.
Mobley 10 points. Max Strus 4 points. Right. So at the end of the day, off the bench, Karis LeVert had 15 as well.
So it was an absolute dreadful performances. Games
from
1,
the star players.
Games 1 and 2 was dreadful from the Magic standpoint. Games 3 and 4 were
It
dreadful.
carried over to Game 4 as well. 5 for 14. Donovan Mitchell had
dreadful
18
for the
points.
Cavs
Jared
side,
Allen led the point lead again at 21 points.
So it was dreadful from the Cavs.
Yeah.
That's just what it's been. It's the most boring 2-2 series in history. It's all 4 games have not been close at all.
No.
And there's a reason why we didn't watch it. And there's a reason why if there's a series that we're going to sacrifice not to watch, it's going to be this one.
Listen, if the other series end, then we'll watch. Simple as that. Like Game 7 at the end of the day should be fun. If at this point it's going to 7.
Yeah,
The way
right.
it's going.
Every
home team won. Right?
Home team winning, right?
So I mean, I think I had Cavs in 6. I think you had Cavs in 6. So it's kind of following that trajectory.
Yeah, because they match up well against each other defensively, right?
Yeah, it's just whose offense is gonna bring more, and I had faith in the Cavs offense.
And we don't know now at this rate
Yeah.
because that's 2-2.
Moving
on to
which one? Let's go to the other boring one.
quick, easy one. Boston Celtics
should have swept.
But they're still handling business, and we'll see what they do in Game 5. Derek White with an absolute monster performance today. I don't know how many points he ended up with, but I saw him at like 33 in like 3 quarters or something. 38 points in in the game.
40 minutes, 38 points.
Yeah, so yeah, Boston is doing what everyone expected them to do, and the Heat just are not good
Can't
enough.
do anything. Literally, they got your trade deadline acquisition is injured.
Oh yeah, he's injured too.
He hasn't played yet, Terry Rozier. So
It's done. It's over.
it's over. Like I said, it should have been a sweep. I don't know why. Joe Mazzulla's like, oh, they shot well from 3. Great, stop it. He stopped it. It was kind of a wake up call.
Might as well get that early, and then later, better get a wake up call earlier than now than later in the playoffs. But yeah, there's no good news. There's no bad news. There's nothing news. The
good news for them is that like
oh,
Cavs and Magic are gonna go probably
yeah.
7. So
But yeah, no, the Celtics are cooking. They have an easy path to the Eastern Conference Finals, and maybe even the Western Conference Finals because your Milwaukee Bucks.
Well, what's Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah, Eastern Conference Finals.
You're going Milwaukee next?
Milwaukee Bucks are down 3-1 to the Indiana Pacers. The team, the Eastern Conference Finals was predicted at the beginning of the year. That will be Bucks and Celtics.
Now
That is not the case because Giannis Antetokounmpo is injured, and now Damian Lillard's injured.
and Chris Middleton's injured, and Bobby Portis is stupid.
Yeah, and
Chris Middleton's been balling. Chris Middleton's been playing like 2021, where the point where Perk was saying he was Batman, right? Or he was Batman.
He wasn't Batman,
right? But he's clearly we know he's not. The way he's been balling, like the way the game went to overtime, it was him. Dame Lillard was playing on a calf or Achilles strain, which is still a serious injury. It sucks, right? Doc Rivers, another year where like we like to criticize Doc Rivers. At the end of the day, he has a lot of injured stars playing for him sometimes, right? Joel Embiid with Philly. You had the Kawhi PG situation. You got the Lob City Clippers were injured at some points as well. And at this point, it's just like now he has these guys injured. It sucks because, like, listen, if Dame was even healthy last game, I think they could have won this game. Personally, just the way Chris
they could win the series with Dame, and it was proven in game 1.
Yeah, because I know people were saying that even if Giannis played, this is the most upset potential. Obviously, looking at it, I disagree with that because Giannis would kind of lock up Siakam in a way, at least limit him. But at the end of the day, you play who you play, right? We always said that you can't control that. It's just unlucky on the Milwaukee side of things, right? And here's the thing. Indiana was number 1 in the league in like pace, field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage, points. And this is all with Tyrese Halliburton not finding his rhythm yet shooting wise, but he's still, my point again, the point guard. I forgot to mention him earlier. He's finding Pascal Siakam in spots. He's finding other players.
Miles Turner's been really good.
Miles Turner has stepped up.
He's been really good.
And yeah, so this series, it sucks that we can't see it to this full potential. I like the rivalry aspect of it because obviously Bobby Portis is just like, again, it's Bobby Portis, so I don't want to say too much about him. But yeah, like we're not gonna get a healthy Chris Middleton. We don't know what the report is like of.
It is what it is.
Of Damian Lillard.
It is what it is.
But if you're Milwaukee, you can't be like, yeah,
2 years in a row.
Break it up.
2 years in a row, you're getting upset in the first round, and obviously both years you have a case of injuries.
Yeah.
Because of Giannis. And Giannis, fix your body, right? You can't be criticizing the front office when you're not available in the playoffs. So you gotta show up. You're gonna have the Joel Embiid narrative on you.
He's on there.
Not talking about in the terms of injuries. I'm talking about.
Yeah, but even then, he's done so much before it.
Yeah, no, we're wiping all that away. What matters now?
Why
do people hate on Kawhi now? Because what he's doing now.
Kawhi's done it with the Spurs. We kind of had a
but nobody cares about that now.
But right? My point is, here's the thing with Giannis: how could you control like your Achilles?
Huh?
Achilles potentially going out.
I don't know, man.
See, that's the thing. Like, it's not
like it's the wrong time.
He's
right?
still in shape.
You gotta be.
It's different.
You gotta be critical of this. Like if we're critical, this is 2 straight years now.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying we're not being critical, but what I'm saying
I'm just saying it's a concern, it's a question mark that it needs to be answered and figured out because your best player has not been turned up in the last 2 playoff series. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I know, but again, like for me, it's just like the type.
Yeah, I know. It's injuries are injuries. I know, but at the end of the day, the criticism is Giannis Antetokounmpo did not show up in the last 2 playoff series he was in. That's what it comes down to.
And I get that. But again, this is an injury that we said he shouldn't even be playing on.
Yeah, I know.
Like you can't control, I guess, an injury like that. Like he's not a guy. He doesn't cheat the game.
He doesn't.
Right? It's not like he shows up out of shape like Zion did.
Yeah.
That's why he gets criticized a lot more than Giannis does.
I know he does, but I'm just saying in the sense of
Joel
like,
Embiid does not show up in shape usually before it. That's what his criticism was. So that's why it's a little bit unfair, right?
but it is what it is. That's just the situation.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You're entitled to that opinion. I just slightly disagree with it just because this. I think it's apples.
Yeah, no,
to
yeah.
oranges.
Do I respect Giannis more than other guys? 100%.
Yeah.
But you know, it's getting concerning. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna end it off on.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fair comparison. That's all. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, whatever. Last series was that the last series? No, last series.
Wait, okay, sorry. I'm gonna ask and the question. This one on this question.
What?
If Dame plays, again, I think it's risky.
My Dame's not playing.
But I'm just saying, if he plays,
Dave shouldn't play.
but if he does play, and if Giannis decides to risk it, and
They're
Chris
losing.
Middleton,
They're losing.
you're not saying?
They're losing.
Yeah, what am I thinking? No 3-1 comeback? Not gonna give him one game even?
Bro, they're gonna get hurt.
Okay.
We saw what happened with Kevin Durant.
How much of a chance are you giving a 3-1 comeback in general?
Like if they're healthy?
Not if they're healthy, but
do you mean?
obviously we know they're not gonna be healthy, so I'm gonna take the hypothetical out of the way.
So
But my point is, if let's just say Dame comes back,
no, they're done.
so you're just saying like Dame and Chris Middleton playing there's no 3-1 comeback at
Dame's not healthy. Dame can't move.
all? Okay, fine, Chris Middleton alone.
No.
But do you give him one more game?
No. I
So
don't.
You're saying it's done
Because
in 5.
Halliburton got better and better as the game went on. Turner's been absolutely incredible. And all it takes is, at the end of the day, Middleton was really bad in game 2, I believe. Right? Middleton, we won't be surprised if Middleton goes like 5 for 25 next game. We won't be. Because that's the type of player he is.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, he was 9 for 22 last game, but
So, yeah, at the end of the day, just all you need to do is stop one guy. They have Bucks, I'm sorry, but the series is over. Speaking of another series that's almost over, the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers.
that series, man.
Jalen Brunson said it's my time to turn up, and he turned up with answering Joel Embiid's 50-point performance with a 47-point victory in Game 4. Joel Embiid, again, what a incredible performance in Game 3.
Yeah, shout out to that too as well, especially playing with the injury and I forget what the thing he had.
Facial paralysis.
Yeah, something like that.
I forgot what it's called.
Which is obviously serious.
Yeah.
But Jalen Brunson in this game, he scored 47 points. The rest of the team scored 50 combined.
Yeah.
Right, so it was 97 points total. Yeah, like we said, I think the scary thing with the Knicks was like how we mentioned for the Nuggets that Jalen Brunson was not going and they were winning the first 2 games. And especially with the way Game 2 ended, this series should have been 2-2, no questions about it, right? At the very minimum. And Jalen Brunson, I don't know how he did in Game 3, but Game 4, he clearly balled out.
Game 3, he did pretty well.
Game 3, he played better then, right? Yeah, he had 39 points alone.
Really
so
good.
that he stepped up these last 2 games, and now he's going to get going. OG Anunoby's having himself a series both offensively and defensively. And yeah, like at the end of the day, it sucks. Joel Embiid is still not fully right. Still dropped 50. The problem is I just think the Knicks are too much and they're going to be ultra aggressive on him as well.
Yeah.
Because he's doing a lot of those. He's not really driving much because he has to lean on the
It's
fadeaway mid-range or that 3-point shot.
Like the Lakers games, it's been very tight and it could have been easily 3-1 for Philadelphia as well. In my opinion, I don't think the series is over in 5. I'll say that much. I think Philadelphia will win the next game, but we'll see what happens from there.
It's at New York though, so
out of all the 3-1s, I could see this one for sure.
Comeback, yeah.
Or at least going Game 7. I'll just say that much.
Fair.
I could still see this going Game 7.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I won't disagree with it.
Maxi's performed pretty well.
But the thing is, again,
Lowry's impact's been pretty good.
Impact's there again, but the question mark is the more Embiid plays, is you question the Lakers' durability as a series. That was only 5 games. This one's already 5.
No, I didn't question that. I questioned that the issue with AD is that he played 70 games. He might be getting hurt in the playoffs.
I'm just talking about as the series went on. I'm not even talking about the overall. I'm talking as the series went on. You could tell the conditioning and the durability kind of dropped a bit.
There's one reason for that.
But I'm saying
Embiid
is going to be the same way.
Yeah, no, but there's a completely different reason for the Lakers. They're playing in altitude.
True. I get that. But I'm saying in this case, Embiid is playing 60%. Essentially.
And they're still close.
Yeah.
They're still very close. They're still right there. It's definitely not over. I'll say that much.
Embiid, if it wasn't for all the flopping and the antics, man, you would have definitely been one of my favorite players.
I know, right?
It's just that I just hate when I hate watching him play for that reason.
I hate, like, there were so many times where I've seen this guy, especially in the end of Game 4, Do you remember when he passed up the mid range and went in the for the finish? But you could clearly tell he was just looking for the foul. He wasn't looking to score, and that's what ruined him.
Yeah.
Right.
How much do you wish that Philly hoped Milwaukee was the second seed?
Yeah.
In hindsight, now.
Yeah, obviously.
Right? Like, okay, realistically, on both conferences, I'm sure you're gonna say with the Lakers. If Lakers were to play any other team, like, I'm gonna just put it out there because those are the tough situations they had, right? Lakers beat the OKC Thunder, in your opinion?
Barely, yeah.
If you
it's a coin flip for me.
But you would play at the beginning of the series. You probably would have picked the Lakers. I'm assuming.
I would have, yeah.
Pelicans.
Oh yeah.
Timberwolves.
Don't get the easy ones out of the way. Timberwolves is tough.
That would be like a 6-7 though.
Yeah, Thunder is 6-7 too.
Suns.
Yes. God.
Clippers and Mavs. Closer than the Nuggets though, right? Like, that's my point.
Yeah.
Not okay. So then, if outside of this, okay. So how much would you give Sixers and Celtics series?
Sixers and Celtics?
Yeah, because that's the only one that would have been the tough one for them. Because I feel like outside of the Knicks, I feel like they could have handled Sixers could have beaten everybody on this list in the Eastern Conference.
And the Celtics. Outside the Knicks and Celtics.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Pacers, yeah. Yeah, Bucks definitely. Magic and Cavs definitely. Pacers are tough, but I'll say they will.
Because I don't think they have any. Their defense is still going to be questionable. Whereas the Knicks have the defense. That's the reason
Knicks have the defense.
Right. I think Cleveland and Orlando have the defense too, but I don't think they have the offense.
Yeah.
Consistent offense.
Because Embiid, at the end of the day, Embiid's still doing Embiid things.
Yeah.
Right? As much as we hate it or love it, he's still doing Embiid things. And Maxi's still there. He's doing his job. The issue with the Sixers is a third guy, and that third guy is supposed to be giving him at least 15 points.
Is just having a stinker.
15 points, and nobody's really giving that because Kyle Lowry's job is,
facilitate,
and he's been doing, like, Kyle Lowry's impact has actually been really incredible.
Yeah.
Right, and he's just proven that how much of a proper vet he is, and how much how experienced he is, and he is a valuable piece in the playoffs to have. And the Sixers, this is the reason why the Sixers have it, like, we're close in games.
Tobias Harris, 10 points, 8 points, 10.7 points, 4 for 10, 4 for 10, 4 for 11, 3 for 7.
You don't have a guy that's going to give you 15 other than outside of
consistently
Maxi and Embiid. Kyle Lowry gave you 18 that one game, but Kyle Lowry's job is not to give you that, right? It's job for Kelly Oubre or Oubre and Tobias Harris to give you that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if Buddy Hield could just be a spark plug and do something.
He's not getting the minutes.
But he's not getting the minutes because obviously reason being is
also defense.
Yeah. And Nick Nurse loves his defensive guys.
Yeah. So if we're talking about defense, Tobias Harris is also on the court, but to be fair, yeah, no, that's overall.
That's their size.
Yeah.
That's just
overall,
size.
That's our thoughts of what the eliminated team should be doing or what the potentially will happen.
Early predictions.
As for the NHL side of things, we'll be doing that next episode. We'll see how it goes. A lot of the Rangers are the only team to go through as of right now, and we'll see how the rest go.
NHL will expect NHL one on Thursday. This one today's obviously Tuesday, and we have a big game today as well with the Vancouver Canucks and Nashville. Hopefully a closeout game. Closeout games are the most difficult.
Yeah,
that is for sure. But let's move on to quick topic here just to wrap up the pod. That is the UEFA Champions Leagues, and we're gonna give you our predictions for the semifinals. We're starting off with PSG versus Dortmund.
Yeah, so overall, I think this is a more even matchup in my opinion. As much as Real Madrid, by name, Real Madrid Bayern should be that matchup. This one's a weird one for me, right? Like, Dortmund have definitely excelled. We thought they were probably not going to do after that Atletico game 1. Didn't think they were going to be as good. They clearly were better than they were. PSG obviously helped. The red card helped in the Barca performance. They did struggle for that up to that point a little bit, but I feel like here's the thing with me. I'm picking PSG to win overall. I feel like this might be the best way for Mbappe to leave is just leave on a Champions League. Do I think he's gonna ultimately win it? No. We both have said the winner of the City Madrid one will end up winning the Champions League. However, if he were to somehow deliver before he leaves, before he goes to ultimately to Madrid, I feel like it's gonna be the perfect ending for him in France. All the maybe drama caused by him, all the maybe the fans that hate him,
Hey,
that will
man.
be out the window because you got the big one.
The big one. That's all that matters.
And you did it without Neymar and you did it without Messi as well. So that's another factor. Now, the funny thing with that is when Courtois left on bad terms with Chelsea, he's still a good player for Madrid. When Hazard left on good terms, winning, I think, the Europa League or whatever he won that year, he was shit for Madrid. But isn't
Mbappe leaving on bad terms or good terms, technically, as if you think about it, even if they do win?
I feel like if he wins, it has to be on good terms.
Oh, yeah, obviously it'll be good terms, but yeah. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, Dortmund and PSG, this is good. They were in the same group, right? That group of death. These are two teams that made it out. They're going to face each other
just
again.
Has to exploit the midfield, and they should be fine.
Yeah, Dortmund does. It's not over
Jadon
for
Sancho,
Dortmund.
to be fair, has been playing well for
It's
them.
not over for Dortmund. They
Yeah.
do have a chance. You know, they have the experience still. Like, Mats Hummels is still balling.
So who are you going for?
I'm going for PSG still, and I feel like the finals is pretty obvious. So yeah, PSG makes the finals for me, and let's see what happens on the other side, which is Madrid, Bayern Munich, and I feel like this is also gonna be very quick.
I feel like it's easy just because like Bayern have struggled for the most part outside of the Allianz games, and even then they barely won 1-0 against Arsenal, if I'm not mistaken, right? When they won 1-0.
Yeah,
Yeah, so and it's Madrid coming off that type of performance against Man City, you can't like unless they go down to their level, they should dominate. At the end of the day, like
100%. This is Jude's game.
is
to
Jude Ballon
dominate.
d'Or if he wins Champions League?
Yes.
Is there who's in contention with him? It's clearly not any of the City guys. I was saying Arsenal, Declan Rice had a shout, but then I don't think he's gonna win the league.
Obviously, Mbappe's gonna be in there because he's
Yeah.
gonna have a case with the Euros, right? If that's a fact, that should be a factor, right? It's based on like this season, right? Like,
Yeah, I'm not sure how much the Euro.
I think Euro should be included then, because France should make it far. Don't get me
I
wrong.
don't know who else it could be this year.
It's Jude's. It's Jude's to lose
No,
right
it's
now.
Jude's to lose, but I'm saying like final three. in
Jude, Mbappe, because he should be in the final, and
Does that have to be a Leverkusen player?
Florian Wirtz,
Someone, I don't know.
Xabi
but-
Alonso.
Yeah, but no, overall, I think same assessment.
Madrid. Just don't
go down to their level and they're fine.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're fine. Bayern have played better in the Champions League than the Bundesliga, so you're not expecting a Bundesliga Bayern. That is for sure. But at the same time, at the Bernabeu, I don't think Madrid has a chance.
You don't think Madrid has a chance?
I mean, I don't think Bayern has a
Yeah, I
chance.
was like-
I don't think Bayern has a chance.
Yeah, okay, easy. I think it's easy predictions. I feel like the more competitive matchup is definitely Dortmund PSG, just because the way it's set up. But yeah, no, we'll see how it goes for sure.
That's it.
That's it, right? Yeah. So make sure you guys like and comment and subscribe. We'll be dropping shorts and TikToks shortly with the clips. As soon as the playoffs die down a bit, challenge videos will be back as well. Make sure, audio listeners, we appreciate you guys. Make sure to keep downloading, rating, and reviewing the podcast out of 5 stars, 5 out of 5. And make sure you guys follow all the socials linked down below as well. And other than that, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.